What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 17 of the Overview. I'm ChanManV, and today we've got Fishstix and Shayed joining me, of course, and Jason. Jason's with us today. What's up, Jason?
I know my nose doesn't fit the cam normally, but at least my head can be in the cam. Took that away from Shayed. Nice try.
You know why I love having Jason on the show? I mean, he just exemplifies professionalism and really brings it
Of course he does.
brings it up a notch. So every single time, I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
I mean, I just love being here every week. You know, my two favorite people this week plus Jason, so it's gonna be a good show.
Well, speaking of Jason and why you enjoy his professionalism, so Jason's going to be joining the Overview as a periodic guest, or just a periodic host whenever he can make it, so he's busy. So welcome to the show, bud. I'm glad.
Shayed. It's glad to be here, Shayed. I'm sure we'll have plenty of great times.
I always miss you when you're not here.
I always miss you.
We'll see if you say that after today.
God, the tension is like real here, guys. It's like real. No, but definitely lots to talk about. Always, it seems to always be a ton of stuff to talk about in terms of Overwatch, and that's really, really great for us who are super passionate about Overwatch. But lots in the news, just how the game's continuing to blow up. Lots of esports news too, and just events. 2 online events. Ghost of Gamers, of course, weekly is going on. ESL had their own event, even a show match with Luminosity and Gale Force to talk about, as well as some team news too. Just folks dropping players or just player swapping teams, that sort of bit too. And then we'll do some Q&A at the end, just like as always. Hopefully we'll get to it this time around, guys. We won't run out of time. I'll get to some of the questions, so tweet those to @ChanManV or @TheOverviewGG, and we'll read them out. Okay, so let's get to just some general news just in Overwatch, and this is just kind of like the I don't know, just feel goods, when it comes to Overwatch. Overwatch has 7 million players, is what Blizzard announced almost a week ago now, so I'm thinking it's like 8 million now at this point, or 9 million or something like that. Pretty amazing. I think is it officially the best-selling new game? I'm not sure if it is or not. If it broke any of those records,
I don't know.
I'm not sure if it broke those records.
I don't think so.
I think it was
a post somewhere saying that it is officially past League of Legends and PC bongs, and
okay, maybe.
No,
I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere.
No,
it was number 2 last I saw, but
it took 10% of League of Legends market share and is like close to it. I don't think it passed.
Maybe it was something else. Was it the sudden attack one?
Yeah, it passed.
Yes, it passed Sudden Attack.
Yeah.
It was number 2 in PC bongs, but anyways, 7 million players, guys. I mean, if you just even think about just the revenue from that, it's pretty disgusting. And I think the price point, just the whole $40 or $60 and people worrying about people not buying it. I think we're seeing people buying it, and it's like completely fine. So definitely kudos to Blizzard. This is definitely huge. This is gonna be a huge year for Blizzard. I can't wait to see what the gross revenue. Yeah.
How many cases did we all buy? Because we bought the game. Like I bought the Origins edition. Tried to go for collectors. I spent 60, and I bought 50 cases on top of that.
I mean, I didn't spend any of my own money on cases.
That's okay. That's technically money.
Wait, cases? What are we talking about? Cases? Loot boxes?
Yeah.
Loot boxes.
Okay.
Zero?
What the hell,
What
cases,
are you?
dude?
Fishstix, you bought zero?
What game are we playing here?
Are you
dude?
running around naked with no skins on? What's going on here? Do you have an intervention?
That's exactly accurate, actually.
I've almost caved. I have not caved yet.
Do it.
I mean,
like
does
10
that
legendary.
make me like a less of a good person or like less of an Overwatch fan? But because I haven't spent extra money on the game, I don't know. I bought this game for $60. Like,
hey man, time is money, and this guy spends a lot of time on Overwatch. So
yeah,
I think it's okay if he doesn't give Blizzard that extra $50 to $100 or whatever it is.
One of my stream subs has bought like 500 loot boxes or something like that.
Holy crap. How many legends? So what are the statistics? Okay, we always have these Hearthstone legendary pack things, right? So what's the Overwatch average for legendary skins and loot boxes? And
There was a post about it. I think I found it once. Let me look at it real quick.
okay. I wonder if it's the same. I wonder if they just borrowed the same algorithm that the Hearthstone folks use.
I would like to think that it's random, so when I get like 7 blues in a row, I don't feel like Blizzard screwed me over.
So this was over the course of 1,000 boxes, a sample size.
Yeah.
Common was 97% apparently drop rate. Rare was 78% drop rate, Epic was 25% drop rate, and Legendary was 9% drop rate. But percent of like total of drops, Legendary was only 2.5%. So pretty hard to get Legendary, I guess.
Never buying a loot box again.
2.5, yeah. And then of course,
there's not that many Legendaries compared to how many commons and rares there are. So I guess the percent's a little misleading.
I guess. I mean, it might. It might actually represent just the percentage of total, just total content or whatever that's in the game.
I mean, the amount of legendary skins versus the amount of like regular skins per hero isn't really that different. I think most heroes have like 6 common, 2 epic, and
I think
4 legendary, something like that.
I think it's just it's a
6
little
or
different.
8.
It's a little bit different for everyone. I mean, there's not one that's like really, really low anymore. I think they've caught up with the Genjis, and some of the folks that were missing some for a while.
Well, they wanted to launch with each hero having 4 legendary skins.
Yeah, they all have at least 4. That's true. But yeah, too. So I mean, I want to know how often you get coins, because I seriously have gotten more coin piles for legend boxes than I have actual skins, if you count the beta now and launch.
I just got my first legendary last night at level 29. So I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I got gold. Yeah, I got gold. Actually, now
you got gold too.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that kind of sucks. It sucks whenever you play all coins. Characters.
I saved up a bunch of coins, bought Raw Zenyatta, and then the next box I opened was legendary Raw Zenyatta.
Okay,
so
that kind of feels bad too.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah.
You know what? I get to play game. I like play game. That is what I do. I play game. Yes, that's.
I can't look at myself. If there were more mirrors on the map, then maybe I would. Maybe I would be tempted to get the.
That's what emotes are for.
Okay, that's true. I guess I don't run.
And killing people.
Oh, what are you saying? I don't kill people? Is that the deal?
No, I mean like you emote after you kill someone.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
In case you get play the game, and then you emote and play the game.
Right. All right, so not only do they have just more than 7 million at this point, the subreddit, holy crap, dude, the subreddit is just growing like on a crazy just rate right now. It's the biggest subreddit for Blizzard IPs at this point, past Hearthstone yesterday. So this is, I don't even know where it's going to stop. It goes up like 10 or 20K like a day. This is insane.
That stat is actually staggering, considering that Hearthstone is one of the biggest games on the planet. It's got a big esports scene. It's got all these pros that stream all day. Yet, in just a matter of the first week after the game came out, we've already beaten Hearthstone. I mean, there's a lot of signs you can point at that show that Overwatch is actually so far ahead of most other esport games in terms of how early it is in its life cycle. But the fact that it's already the biggest Blizzard game on Reddit is kind of insane. And I'm like constantly adjusting my predictions for where this game is going up after seeing just how quickly things are growing. But obviously, we talked about it last week. The subreddit is massive. It's got 370,000 subscribers, 18,000 people on it right now at any given time, but still nothing about esports. So
yeah,
that tilts me so hard.
You can't tie it 1-to-1 with the esports growth of this game, but I think we'll start seeing it seep in eventually.
To be fair,
improvements happen.
Competitive subreddit's gone from 2,000 up to 18,000 over the course of a week or two. So it's starting to filter over, but I think nothing tilts me more than going to Overwatch subreddit and just seeing play the game. Look what I did. Look what I did. I got 2 kills. I got a revive. It just tilts me so hard. I mean, the game's out, so obviously it's going to be there. And people are like, look what I did. But you compare this to Global Offensive subreddit, and it's just night and day. But eventually it'll change. But,
yes, of course.
We
talked about this last week, obviously, to a degree, and it's just they'll be fatigued for sure for these play of the game videos. And honestly, we're starting to see a little bit less of it on the
I just don't see it at all. I filter it out now.
You just filter it out? Yeah, that's not true. The tags are nice that way. But the competitive, like you said, the competitive subreddit is growing fast. And Fishstix, you're actually a mod on that subreddit now, right?
Yes, I am. I swear to God, I wasn't gunning to be a mod. I'm just like, hey guys, you should make a tournament calendar. I'll help you. And hey guys, you should put the tournament calendar on the sidebar. Hey guys, there's stream team for competitive streamers. Like, put that on the sidebar. Then I'm just like, you know what? Just make me a mod. I'll just do it. So they said yes, and yeah, now I'm going to contribute a little bit over there. No idea how much time I'm actually going to be able to devote to that, but
right. No, that's great. I mean, that's
at least we're doing some little things here and there.
Yeah, I just even Hearthstone, right? The competitive, sister subreddit is quite large, and it's become that. You don't see much competitive discussions in the main Hearthstone subreddit anymore, and I think it's going to be pretty similar to this in Overwatch. We might just see giant tournaments being posted in the main one, and then just more meta centric and very in depth discussions being talked on the competitive Overwatch subreddit.
If I'm not mistaken, I thought the Overwatch subreddit was going to have in the sidebar like tournaments that are happening at the moment.
They do. Yeah, they're supposed.
That's what Ben did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's in the competitive one, yeah.
No, I thought
no.
the
That's
regular
not the competitive one.
The regular
The
Overwatch
regular
one.
Yeah, no. Kiki said last week. I think that they were working on having it included into the new one.
Yeah, Kiki said that
one, right?
Kiki said that in the chat during the show, and literally right after the show, I saw something on the right bar. So there was a tournament.
The upcoming events.
Yeah, there's already upcoming events.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
It might have even been there before the show. I just didn't notice it until after we talked about it.
Yeah, I was
I
going to say Kiki's is basic. Kiki's basic. She's messaging me right now, yelling at me for having a white shirt on, but she's basic as shit.
She's basic as shit. No.
Anyways.
Yeah. So there will be some. There'll be some mention, and I'd like sticky stuff like on the front one, but that's just me, of course, and just somebody.
The thing is,
we'll get there. It'll be fine.
I'm a little bit concerned, because the mentality that I'm so used to seeing from the Overwatch subreddit, during closed beta, was that nobody wanted to see anything about esports on the subreddit. So that concerns me a little bit, going into after release, what people's reactions are going to be. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit worried just based off of past events.
Hey,
for me is
yeah. Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I think for me it's like as Ben said, there's 18,000 people there at any given time. Let's just be generous and say 50% of those are going to say, "Oh, a tournament's going on right now. I want to see what this is about." That's what 9K people just randomly tuning into a stream to see what's happening. Maybe they'll get interested. Maybe they'll start playing competitively. Maybe they'll start following streams and tournaments. It's just like the potential amount of people that can see a tournament coming, even if they just stop in for 2 minutes, is nice. I mean, you had Gosu Gamers, which I think we'll get to later, had 20,000 views for their weekly, and the ESL one, 27,000. There you go. Just another 9,000 to that, and you're pretty much bigger than any of the Blizzard games right now when they do a major event. So, well, not Hearthstone, but
yeah, absolutely.
There was Sunday for a few hours. Overwatch was the biggest game on Twitch for.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and also, even though it's a far cry from the main subreddit, to be sure, but the competitive subreddit is averaging 350 to 400 concurrent people on it at any given time, and that's actually the size of medium-sized subreddits for games like Street Fighter, right? So, our competitive subreddit alone is as big as main game subreddits for a lot of other games, so that's actually pretty good. I'm really happy to see that.
And it's just the beginning, like Jason said. I mean, it's grown 15,000, I think, in the last week. So, I mean, if it even gets to 100,000 for a competitive one, that would be just amazing, actually.
Yeah,
that'd be outstanding. Just to give you some idea about who's talking about it. Obviously, I mean, I've been listening to different gaming podcasts and live just shows and whatnot in the gaming industry talking about Overwatch, or just completely infatuated with Overwatch. But even billionaires like Elon Musk are and also recommending this game. So the extent of which the game is, I think, reaching people is crazy. I mean, we haven't seen anything like this before, right? I mean, have we seen anybody like Elon Musk talking about League of Legends? I mean, people investing at this point, people investing in LCS, obviously to that degree at this point in esports.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of behind the scenes people that are that level, but they're not openly talking about it.
I'll say, when I saw the Elon Musk thing, I was really, really happy, because there's only two things in this world that I am a blind fanboy for, and one of them is Overwatch, and the other one is anything that Elon Musk has ever touched in his whole life. I own Tesla stock. Yeah.
Do you
So
own
this
a
is
Tesla
the perfect pair.
car though?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. All right. All right. Cool. Cool.
So what you're saying is when you saw this tweet, you just freaked out.
Pretty much.
Super
Pretty
fanboy.
awesome.
Yeah.
I should retweet this. I should definitely retweet this. What am I doing?
You haven't retweeted it? So much for a fanboy. Jeez.
Yeah, I'll do it later.
Yeah, but no, definitely, it's really cool to see. Just again, just how pervasive the game's been, and it'll be cool. It'll be interesting to see how long this lasts. This kind of Overwatch high. I'm thinking it'll last to the end of the month. We'll see. But even just honestly, for about 60, 70, 75 days for a game just to be like the most prominent thing in the gaming industry, that's amazing these days, because games come out like every week. And E3 is coming out this week. E3 is going to be a big thing this week too. So I'm sure we'll see a bunch of announcements, and we'll see, I guess, how if everybody's still talking about Overwatch that's not crazy into it.
Oh my god.
What?
Sorry, did you see this tweet from G2A on the chain?
Let me see.
Oh god, it's too good.
Let me get. What is it?
Making it in
Oh, you
Skype.
mean in the chain for the Elon Musk chain?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it. All right, let me see what this is.
Wait, it didn't work. Hold on.
I know, it
Shit.
didn't work. Come on, man.
Hold on.
Jeez, come on.
Why did it? There it is.
Oh my god, I didn't
Let's
see
do
the
this.
Play Overwatch tweet in this chain. This is amazing.
Oh, this is awesome. Okay, I gotta show this. Oh god. The similarities are just crazy. It's amazing.
Did you see the Overwatch one where they said, if
Yeah.
you need any astronauts, we have a gorilla with experience?
Yeah.
No, definitely good. Nice, great entertainment, that's for sure. All right, let's move on to the next bit of news. So banning, so the ban hammer. We've talked a lot about just Blizzard being just being on the lookout for hackers. Definitely putting down the ban hammer for hackers, and we've seen more public announcements from China, particularly in the recent week, that talks about them banning. I think it was like the first wave was like 1,500 people. Yeah, 1,572 people, and that. Just statements from just Blizzard, like NetEase and as well as Blizzard have been very firm about there's no tolerance for hacking. Obviously, we're not going to ban people quickly. We're going to do our just the due diligence for it. But when we ban it, it's going to be, it's going to be quick, and it's going to be don't think you can get away with it. Basically, is what they're saying.
I think the best part of that story was actually the quotes from the guy that bought 4 different copies of Overwatch and was banned on all of them for cheating. It was great. It's like, that's a lot of money.
You have to compare it to Counter-Strike as well. So in Counter-Strike, the game costs at its minimum was 3 or 4 euros or bucks, whatever, when it was on sale for a major. So people stock up on tons of Smurf accounts. But on Overwatch, I don't want to spend 40 bucks on another account because I wanted to cheat on my main account, kind of thing. Not to mention the 50 cases I bought. So I don't know if cheating would be as prevalent in Overwatch, just for the fact of how much it costs to re-up if you do get caught. But I definitely know there's a lot of websites promoting wall hacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with the mentality of ooh, this game has a big price tag, so we probably won't see as many cheaters, because I mean, if you're the person making the cheats, you're probably making a lot of money off of it. And it's
well, I mean, in the discussion, in to Jason's point, in the hacking discussion, especially in CS and other communities, the price point of the game has always been somewhat of a deterrent. So I mean, I still think it is, because a lot of these guys don't want to spend $40-$50 every time they want to give it a try, right? So I do see it happening a little bit less, just because of that.
Yeah, I think one thing to take note of is just there's no pomp and circumstance from Blizzard. They're not making a big deal about this, but they want everyone to know that they're going to act decisively. So watch out, guys. No cheating. Bad move.
Also, you have to keep in mind on how, I don't know if Blizzard does this, but the way Valve deals with cheaters in CS, they're going to let people cheat that they know are already cheating to see how many people are using that hack. So they ban everyone at one given time. So instead of banning one person at a time, they're banning thousands. And that way, you kind of get a bigger grasp of people pulled into it or pulled down, I don't know, banned from it, than just constantly making the people who make the hacks adapt it. So they take out people in bigger waves, which I'm assuming they're kind of going that same route with banning that many people at once.
What do you guys think about the technique of just putting them in this? Like, don't tell them that they know, and instead of banning them, they just put them in this bucket that's just like purgatory bucket, where you only play against other hackers and
They
cheaters.
should do that with Tracer players.
Oh my god.
It'd just be a bunch of tracers against each other. Oh man.
Nah, purgatory is when you're surrounded by 11 maze. Ugh. Makes me cringe just like thinking about.
Oh
Yeah, but
my god, did you guys see the video that was on Reddit yesterday? It was a clip from Siegel's stream, and it was Exy playing May, and he would take a step and then punch, and then take a step and then punch, and take a step and then punch, and then he like double headshot Siegel and killed him. And Siegel's reaction was like, "What kind of devil ritual is this? You like take a step and punch, do it 180, and then double headshot someone and kill them." And then there was just like a picture of May's face that pops up on the screen, and just like a scream, like a shrieking scream. This is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Oh man. May Fish or yeah, Ben, you still playing May a lot or no? I know for a while
Actually,
you were liking her.
not at all.
Okay, yeah, me too. I haven't played much of her recently.
Roadhog's my new babe.
Yes.
Roadhog's so fun. God, I love playing Roadhog.
Okay, well, talking about some characters, Diva and McCree has been just the topic from the standpoint. Jeff Goodman made a statement about them taking a look at both of these characters. More so of a buff for Diva and a nerf for McCree. What do you guys think, just generally speaking, the right assessment for both of these characters? And McCree obviously has been a huge discussion in the competitive scene, but Diva, I don't think have a lot of people been talking about Diva too in the competitive
I
scene.
think we probably need to add Widowmaker to that list too.
I'd like to see Widow on the list, yeah.
It's been yada too.
What do you think about Diva though?
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, Diva. Like,
I think Diva's she's not bad, but she's like you can compare her to Winston and what she does in scrim or something like that in a match, and Winston does it better. And if you have someone who does something 1% better than someone else, like hero-wise, obviously you're gonna choose the person that does it 1% better. I don't know what they would potentially change in her, like ultimate charge, I'm guessing, or her kit.
I don't know.
Ugh,
Diva's in a really weird position right now, I think, because it's the one thing that she does have over Winston is that at close ranges, she actually has better DPS, and she can do things like take down a Reinhardt shield a lot better.
And
of
Widowmaker.
course, her knockback is pretty good. Defensive Matrix is actually like my new favorite counter to a good Widow or a Bastion set up behind a Reinhardt shield. But beyond that, you're right. I mean, Winston, I think a lot of it has to do with Winston's ultimate. He just has so much survivability on King of the Hill, on payload, no matter what. It just helps so much to have Winston because he can survive for so long by just leaping continuously into the air, building his ultimate really quickly, and then ultimate just lasting for what feels like an eternity. I think, frankly, to bring Diva back in, I wouldn't mind seeing Winston toned down a tiny bit. I think Diva could use some love as well. But like, if I were Blizzard, I'd like shorten. I think I'd shorten Winston's ultimate by a couple of seconds. And then in terms of tuning Diva, I'm not sure what it is. Maybe just being able to move a little bit quicker when you're shooting. I think that would be a huge help because you're so vulnerable when you're actually trying to shoot as Diva, and that's one of her big problems.
Also, her hitbox too on her
freaking huge.
Box is huge. Yeah, just like Zenyatta as well. His hitbox is ginormous. But
It's
I
not
think
like he needs one. He just gets one shot by a fully charged Widow in the body.
Yeah.
Anyways.
the thing is, so while we were casting at Take TV, the tournament, we noticed and we heard from Sugat a lot of things about a Widowmaker. Obviously, she's really strong, and a Genji can basically 1v1 a Widowmaker if they're equal skill. The problem comes into when a Widowmaker is being pocketed by a Mercy, and then a Genji can't beat a Widowmaker and a Mercy 1v2. So, but to bypass that, you throw a Winston in the mix. A Winston and a Genji can beat them 2v2. But I think if you throw a Diva instead of a Winston, you don't really get the same effects. You don't get the shield. You don't get the AoE damage, the constant damage as well. It's a little bit easier to run away from a Diva, I'd say. And again, like Fishstix said, the ultimate out of Winston just makes his survivability shoot through the roof. And he can easily leap back just like a Genji can if they pick up a kill or two. So it's really hard, I think, to nerf Winston in a way that you wouldn't be affecting his skirmish power in like a 2-on-2 like that versus two Winstons, like the whole double Winston combo. But I mean, we'll get into our hero limit discussion later. But yeah, I don't know what you can do to Diva. Shayed, do you have any thoughts? I don't know. Sorry, we've been talking the whole time, so I wanted to get you in on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see one of the things that I think I hate personally about playing Diva is when I'm shooting, I move slower, and
Yeah,
that kind of
that's-
bothers me a little bit because she only really does damage when you're like really, really close range. So the fact that you have to first of all get in close range, which isn't too hard with her boost, but like once you get there, you're just slowed down, so it's hard to really like keep people
Yeah, I mean,
close enough to actually do damage to them. That really
Yeah.
bothers me. So I'd like to see them maybe not remove it completely, but take away just a little bit of the movement debuff when she's firing, because there isn't really is there
Yeah, I
anybody
agree
else that
with
has that?
I'd agree with that too. And I have like
I don't think
kinda-
anybody else, like even Winston, as powerful as his gun is, doesn't have the like problem of he's not slower when he's shooting
Yeah.
his gun.
That's
So
right.
Yeah.
I'll even give. I mean, even from the standpoint of just enjoyment factor, or just kind of this feel when you're playing the game. I think Diva firing and not being able to move is one of the worst feelings like I have during the game when I'm playing it. There's not very many things in the game where I don't feel like it just flowing wise and just for this character it actually feels right. And that's like about one of the only things in the game I can point that just doesn't feel correct in terms of even just design. Just when you're designing a game that's supposed to feel good for your users. So yeah, both
I think-
balance and design, I feel like that could be changed.
I mean, if they want to keep Diva the way it is, then people have to adapt to her playstyle of just, well, you're not really going to kill anyone, but you'll be a nuisance and you'll distract a Widow and a Mercy for a while the rest of your team tries to win in a 5v4 or 5v5 battle. I don't know. She doesn't have her unique niche anymore. Because you have Winston, who does his own thing, who jumps in the back lines. You have Reinhardt, who protects the front. You have Zarya, who protects DPS, also does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And then you have Roadhog now, who is just ridiculously strong when you pair him with a Reinhardt just to sit behind the shield and not be an ult soak anymore. But where does Diva fit in? And she doesn't have that unique playstyle that makes her accessible in a competitive way to like any strategies.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Okay, well, McCree. All right, so everybody's been talking about McCree at this point. So, what do we change about McCree? Because they've
right
been
click damage, stun duration,
okay, all right.
everything.
So, I mean, stun duration is one thing that they have played with, right? And Jeff on actually the Overwatch, my other show, we talked a little bit about just why they only chose that, which was the reason he gave was just having your teammates still be able to assist in some way, but at least having the cooldowns between the stun and the right click, have that still be basically unchanged. So at this point, I think everybody could agree that that's not enough. So that they need to do more. Shayed, you listed out those two. Which one's most important? Just like priority wise, like damage from the right click.
How about your right click damage?
Okay. All right.
I have the same. Okay, so like my philosophy with Overwatch has not changed this entire time. I hate one-shot mechanics, and McCree's right click feels like a one-shot mechanic. It is a one-shot mechanic for most heroes in the game.
It doesn't have a cooldown.
I don't
It's
like.
like a reload.
I don't like. Well, I mean, it kind of does.
It's a
They kind of
reload.
made it a little bit harder to reload with him, but
Yeah.
I don't like one-shot mechanics. So things like Tracer one clipping a 200 HP hero at mid-range, hate it. Widowmaker one-shot body shots. Zenyatta in particular, I mean, she one-shots body shot Tracer too, but I hate Tracer, so whatever. And like, I mean, one-shot headshotting anything is kind of dumb too. She does that to pretty much everybody except for tanks. And McCree's right click, I hate those things because it doesn't feel, especially with McCree's right click, like there's any counterplay to it. Like if he's creeping around a quarter and then flashbangs you from behind and then right clicks you, like you're stunned for the duration of his right click. So
Well, is it the right click or the flashbang pairing with it that makes it the right click so strong? Because I think it's
I
the
mean, he doesn't
flashbang
even
that
have
actually
to
makes the right
flashbang
click
you.
strong.
He could walk up to you, right click you, and if you don't get out of the way, you're gonna die to the right click. He doesn't need the flashbang to one shot you.
Yeah, I don't know if we have an equivalent to that. Just something that literally one shots you almost every character in a second. Especially from close range. Ben,
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways that you can tune McCree. I don't hate the idea of a flashbang being used effectively with teammates. What I do get really frustrated by is like a McCree. If a McCree comes up from behind you or from the side and you don't see him coming or you don't hear his spurs jingling or whatever, you're dead. I mean, against a really, really good McCree, you get flashbangs, you are just dead. I don't hate the idea of a flashbang, as frustrating as it is to be stunned in an FPS game, period. I don't hate the idea of a flashbang that forces there to be team play around it. But what kind of bothers me is when McCree is like an instant killer. He's just like such a good roaming flanker that if you're playing any other DPS class like Genji or whatever, I play a lot of Genji, so I really hate McCree's. If I get caught off guard, you're just dead. But if you made it so that he couldn't do the flashbang into right click anymore, then all of a sudden McCree is nerfed to shit. I think it would be useless if you completely took that away from him. So I'm not really sure what the medium ground is here. One thing that I've personally suggested many times is that his right click is put on a 6-second cooldown, just like Winston's leap or something like that, so that at least he can't flashbang, right click, roll, right click. At least put Fan the Hammer on a cooldown so he doesn't have quite as much burst ability, but that doesn't address at all the problem, or my perceived problem, of the fact that if you're flanked by McCree, you're just dead instantaneously. At least he wouldn't be able to do that against tanks in this situation, but I don't know. That's my proposed solution, and the way Blizzard's been doing things, I don't see them nerfing him in more than one way at once. Try one thing and see how it works. So I'd love to start with that. Just put his Fan the Hammer on a cooldown. I'd love to see that.
I mean, it's super frustrating for me as like a support, because I'm following somebody around as Mercy and they get stun flashbang by McCree. There's no amount of healing in the game that I can do to keep them alive through that combo. Like, they're just dead instantly.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like if there's no counterplay to something, it shouldn't be in the game.
Yeah.
And
Jason,
that's what bothers me the most.
What do you think, man?
So I'm very cautious of how I go about talking about it, because there's a couple of different things. So to what Ben said about the cooldown on the dash and right click, I'm curious, because the fact that a McCree flashbang right clicks, dashes right clicks, he's ideally going to be rolling in the general vicinity towards you or near you, not away from you to right click again. So that puts McCree actually in a bad position. So he uses it aggressively so he can be killed really quickly in a return kill. But at the same time, I agree, it's kind of like BS that he can right click flash or flashbang right click dash right click again. But the thing is, for me, McCree by nature is supposed to be like an up close and personal skirmisher dueler, just the way his kid is, the way he is as like a old Western kind of guy. So it's very hard to change that fact of taking away his right click completely, because that's where his power actually is. His left click does, really good damage, yes, but that's been toned down, and he's more about a battler, like a dueler in person. So what I've been doing mostly when I play now is I respect that, and I give him that position, and I prefer to take him down from medium to long range and playing around what he's supposed to be. I mean, obviously there's some points where it's really frustrating to just get instantly comboed down. Oh, trust me, I've said pretty much every curse word in the dictionary when that happens to me. But at the same time, that's like running straight into Widowmaker and not sitting behind a shield. You have to respect how that hero is supposed to be played and work around it. But there's a certain level between doing that and him just being too damn strong at what he does. So it's a really subtle balance, I think.
Yeah, I mean, to Ben's point too, I think that the initial engagement kill is definitely the power of McCree, but his additional power of just instant recovery, whether it's the roll or it's just the reload, and him being able just to right click again instantly and kill multiple people, I think is where the power just gets out of hand. So yeah, a 6-second cooldown would be great for right click, but that breaks the mechanics of the game. There's no cooldown on right click, so I don't think that's just easy for them to add, because McCree essentially has an additional ability, unlike the other characters. He, that right click is really like another shift or another E or whatever, and it's going to be hard for them to actually figure that out. What about taking out roll? Like, what if right click was just the roll now?
I don't like the idea of nerfing someone's mobility. Like, this is a very, very fast-paced game, and abilities play a huge part in that. So I don't really like the idea of changing a mobility feature.
I can agree. Big. At the same time, you also have the fact that if you're going to be McCree and you're going to play that close and you're not going to have an escape, you better sure as hell get a kill. So there's like a positive and negative to it, where if you're committing to playing that close, you're going to pay the price if you fuck up. So I agree, like, mobility is huge in this game, and that's what you see Lucio played almost every single game. But at the same time, it forces them to commit to a play style, and if you're not comfortable or if you get caught out, then that pretty much screws your entire team. And we haven't even talked about the whole double McCree thing yet, but I think Ben had something to say, though, before we get to double McCree.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just wanted to comment because there's actually a lot of interesting conversations going on in chat right now. A number of pro players talking about this stuff right now in our chat. So welcome and thanks for tuning in, guys. No, I wanted to agree. Like, it's frustrating personally as a Genji player to be flanked by McCree, but that's really what McCree's strength is. So I'm not saying change McCree entirely. I think you're totally right, Jason. The interesting part about McCree and counterplay to McCree is once you learn the range of his flashbang, you just learn to stay out of it. And a McCree's coming. Everybody, watch out. A McCree's fucking coming. He's coming from the right side. Just stay 5 or 6, 7 meters away from him. You'll be okay. It's really hard to do, especially against a good McCree, but you can play against it. I think coming back to maybe the putting a 6-second cooldown on his Fan the Hammer or decreasing the damage of the Fan the Hammer, probably a better way to nerf him, because I think the bigger problem is just how incredibly bursty he is. He can take down not only 200 HP targets, but also tanks and just keep firing away. And honestly, like, seeing a McCree left click with incredible accuracy and get headshot after headshot is incredibly sweet and exciting. So whatever we can see to like bring down Fan the Hammer just a little bit and encourage people to left click a little bit more would be great, whether that's decreasing the damage or introducing a cooldown, whatever that is.
Okay.